It's me once again, torturing mappers. Here's the premise. I am making a map, and I got 8 people to make stages for me. I will be playing these, and the best one will be featured as a stage on my map, and the mapper will be rewarded with 20 bucks. The rest of the 7 stages will get added as bonuses. In order for them to win, they have to mimic the other stages that I have made as best as possible, since the stages need to fit within the general theme of the map. I sent them my stages, the textures and light values I used, and let them go apeshit and hammer. Let's take a look at these stages, in no particular order at first, with me spewing my thoughts on them. After that, I'll rank them and show you who won the competition. Let's start with Foxy because I hold a particular grudge against him. You see, I go for completions, and the only 2 tier 3 maps missing for my 100% tier 3 completion are both his maps. Serve Backrooms is a map that I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to play. On the list of things that are bad for humanity, Serve Backrooms would be right underneath the Holocaust and slavery. So let's just say I did not have much expectations when starting this up. Everybody had sent me some notes, and his second sentence in the notes said, "Added a boring curve ramp to start the map. Hope Serve Backrooms and Serve Rebirth enjoyers would like it." Now I was really not looking forward to playing it. When booting it up, I first thought my previous concerns were right, but it turned out to be okay. Let's start with the gameplay. The first few seconds of the stage were not really enjoyable to serve, but once I got to the first big spin, things started to look up. Both ramps in the beginning have a flow similar to laxatives, because although it certainly flows, you would likely only describe it as shit. For the next spin, he noted that he didn't know whether this spin would feel good with more units, but I can't confirm since I'm fucking ass. I like the short spin and then going through the window into the next spin. The part after that is also quite nice, especially the curve ramp upwards. Now onto the detailing. I told my little slaves that, apart from everything else, detailing is optional. So they didn't have to put any models or fancy brushwork in it. That was optional. They only had to slap the textures on and do some basic lighting. Right when you spawn, you get greeted by scoliosis arches and beautiful displacement work. The rooms are quite big on the stage, which, when nothing's in them, is a big minus. He also didn't make the edges of the spin obstacles stand out, which is fucking annoying. I should note that when I downloaded the files he sent me, the download went on for quite some time. After 30 minutes of downloading, I checked what was going on, only to be greeted by the message that I was downloading 430 elements. I double-checked if I downloaded the correct files, and I did. After downloading and extracting the 430 files, I checked what was in the folder he sent me. To my surprise, I found a subfolder titled Mental Support Folder for all the hate I get for my mapping, which contain about 426 pictures of cats. Nice. Also, some of the files he sent me were in French, so no idea what that's supposed to mean. I could have told him to please change the file names to English, but you know what? I figured that living in France is enough punishment from God by itself, so I did not burden him with any more work and I just used Google Translator. Next up is the JazzAgent, and I was really keen on roasting him since he was one of the people big-mouthing in Discord. Coincidentally, out of all servers, he was the first one to finish, which I'm sure he's very used to. So I waited until I was in a pissed mood and then hopped onto his stage. Unfortunately, his stage fucking slaps. It's really good, so let me get the positive things out of the way before I start fanboying too much. The entire stage is just so good gameplay-wise. The spins are fun, the flow is great, and especially these slide parts are really satisfying. He even managed to make a head check fun. How the fuck is that possible? Take notes, mappers. The only thing gameplay-wise I would have changed is the part where you drop into the spin. There's no head serve or headed there, so the previous flow gets slightly interrupted. He copied the ramps from my BSP that he decompiled, which was really smart since having the same ramp feeling is quite important. Another thing he mentioned is that he kept the second head serve slide in, even though it was 2 unit RNG sometimes, which I also thought was a great decision. Okay, this is how you do proper fucking surf JazzAgent, not dog piss like Barbie's Malibu or whatever these 2 turds are. Onto the negative. The windows would look better with some outlinings. Windows without black bars supporting them is like pizza without crust. I also don't know why he didn't use the Surfside texture for the slides. Then there are all the small things, which overall give it an unfinished and amateur feeling. All in all, a very good gameplay, but everything else is lacking some tweaks. Next up is Mr. Nibiru, and roasting him at this point in time would be like making fun of a corpse after what happened to him in the Surf Heaven Discord channel. Fortunately, I'm into necrophilia, so let's open his wonderful stage. Alright, just take a look at this and judge for yourself. Let him cook. Things like this make me realize that Puffin specced into the wrong part of the tech tree. Puffin is the kind of guy to wash his hands after a shower. The gameplay is, not really good. I'm just gonna keep this short and simple. Look at this spin. Fucking look at it. 12 chromosomes looking head ass. This stage single-handedly successfully turned 200,000 Christians into atheists, cause dear brother in Christ, God is dead. And then there's the detailing slash enclosing. It's just big ass box after another big ass box. Dear Puffin, as a mapper you need to be efficient. Don't leave everything in a big box like this or I will key your car. IrynStyle has made something fun. Thank fuck I was about to unalive myself. Interesting flicks with nice snipes that aren't too 8, diverse gameplay and a good flow. He made this in about 3 hours and it's still better than 80% of the other contestants. However, the rest is questionable. The wall texture is penetrating my fucking eyes with the way it's scaled and it's everywhere. Everything else enclosing wise is also kept as simple as possible. Simple but effective. I had a real hard time coming up with anything for this one. I liked the surf, but besides that there's nothing that stuck with me. Nothing but a, hey, this is quite nice, but that's it. Congratulations Iryn, you get the award for the most average mapper ever. Alright, next. Sneaky, unlike the others, had a different job. I knew that I would get testers to play all of these stages, and only torturing mappers seemed a bit one-sided. So I wanted one mapper to make some tier 8 small ramps bullshit, and who is better qualified for that position than Sneaky? We made a deal and voila, the tier 8 cancer was created. And it worked of course, seeing all those testers whine saying, this is not tier 3/4, while I gotta keep a straight face and explain to them the mapper thinks it's tier 4 and it's a case of skill issue, was simply amazing. Thank you Sneaky for making people lose their shit. Now it's time to let Sneaky back into his solitary confinement, where he belongs because of what he has created. The only guy who managed to beat this stage on 66 tick was the Divine Klint, also known as Midget. He is also the only one who said positive things about this stage, so yeah, well, skill issue for all the others. Next up is KZA and I'm not gonna show his stage. I was thinking about how to roast him and then I thought, why don't I just not show his stage at all? Just blurred gameplay of it in the background. All this time he invested into it, insanity slowly building up because of Hammer only for it not to see the light of day in the end. Trust me when I tell you that it's not worth showing anyway. It's small rams and ram strafes, so go figure how fun that would be. Ethics, unlike the others, didn't send any notes in, but rather a video of him explaining what his stage was supposed to be and so on. Let's watch that video together, with me pausing it in between so I can note some things.
So you go down here, you spin through here. It's a bit of an awkward spin and a bit of an awkward board on this slanted ramp below.
Just to translate that into non-bullshit, this means a shit spin with a shit board.
Which you're gonna flick off correctly into the soil. Then you turn, go into this ramp, and weave through here. Then you come onto this small ramp here, and fall into the soil, which has another spin. I soon it too, but I made it a bit easier, because the first version of the spin was so hard. So you spin down here, and then this is Spire, with a B-hop. I found it cool to like enter the spire part itself in the middle. You can either like do a quick spin down here, or you can S-tab. S-tabbing is what I did, so just press S here and then board here somewhere. And you're gonna go to this. Do a quick little weave, board the ramp correctly, mind the head hit, oops. And then you're gonna flick up to the end.
Pretty interesting to see that a guy named Ethics would steal from so many different maps.
maybe a bit too hard, but I don't really give a shit about winning 20 euros, to be honest.
7 billion years later.
The stage has a very unconventional start, which, because it's unconventional, gets a bad rap in my eyes. Everything else is pretty nice to serve, except the tronic part, because I can feel the fucking flashbacks coming. Detailing wise, shit's pretty bad if I'm honest, which means we have another failed German artist on our hands. The first spin has no contrasting textures, some textures are underlined and or badly scaled, then there's this ramp, and the lighting either feels like it's full bright or someone flicked the light switch off. His logo is pretty cool though. Now onto the testers' opinions. We have all sorts of testers. We have cuties, weebs, wholesome people, Paul, racists, bad singers, and whoever these are. Before they got to test the stages, however, I asked them if they either wanted to be in Team Caterpillar or in Team Lobster. Small intermission, I once had a school trip to Belgium and on one evening we went to a karaoke bar. We got chatting with a couple of the locals where one guy, out of context, asked me whether I would prefer lobsters or caterpillars. Perplexed, I tried to ask him in what context. Would I prefer them as pets or as food? To which he responded, no, in general. I was very confused by his out-of-the-blue question, but after small consideration, I answered, lobsters, I guess. He proceeded to smirk and gave me a silent nod, approving my decision. Since that day, I've made it my goal to keep up the legacy of this question, and who better to ask than cultured and intelligent surfers? Most of them chose Team Lobster, which of course is the superior animal in every way, but it was a close vote. I can't believe that people genuinely voted for caterpillars, the fucking subspecies, they're so fucking boring. Anyways, here's what they had to say about the maps. Starting with Foxy, they thought it was complete ass. A wannabe Apexa that can't make proper gameplay. On a side note, this is the first time I ever saw Louis say something mean. Puffin's stage was, not received very well either. The overall look of the stage, combined with the random grass texture gaming, plus the wonky surf, made people almost kill themselves. But hey, that's just what you get when you play Puffin maps. Just the mere thought of playing Nibiru makes me want to commit genocide. Also, here's a review of the stage that is too good to just show. As I was gliding through the map, admiring the desolate misery that was unfolding under me, I came upon a thought. Who in their right mind would create a monstrosity like this? This conundrum gnawed at me with unyielding persistence. Though I knew not that the answer to my dilemma was waiting in the last chamber. A name so horrible and horrifying that it deserves to be uttered by no man or woman. It haunts me. That was written by the same guy who posted this, by the way. Iryn's stage was pretty well received, apart from a couple of things like this weird-ass ramp, the textures, and the bright lighting. And to be honest, when I edited this part of the video, I actually forgot that Iryn submitted his stage, so yeah. KZA's stage was, I'm still not gonna show it. Ethics had a mixed review, with some people liking it and others not so much. Coincidentally, the only parts people liked were ones he stole from other maps. And JazzAgent? Well, I didn't send them that one because it's actually fun to play and I won't be responsible for my servers having fun. So who did the testers choose as the winner? Who did they choose as the last place? Did you actually think I was going to listen to what they're saying? Only I get to decide who wins. A totalitarian judgment system as God intended. And the winner is the JazzAgent. Not really surprising considering that all the others sent me dog piss on a stick as their stages, but well done JazzAgent nonetheless. The last place overall being Puffin with the worst stage. Crazy to see how how the last place was more competitive than the first. That just shows you the standards my competitions have. But who am I to judge? All that they've done is better than anything I have ever released, so... If you're still watching, then hello legend. You will get your own personal fuck off. Fuck off. That was written by the same gay... Same guy, same gay? Yeah, the same gay.